why am I reviewing the T-Flight for PlayStation 5? Simple answer, Aces of Thunder has got me sniffing around like a dog on heat. So much so, I gave War Thunder another go, and here we are. Currently, you've got two options for flight sticks on PlayStation 5. There's this, the Thrustmaster T.Flight, and there's the Hori. I will also be reviewing the Hori soon, as well as doing a comparison video between both of these and the Hori, so make sure you come back for that. So, how much does this cost? Well, not much. It's $70 US. This is definitely a budget offering. It is a shame there's like no competition for flight sticks on PlayStation 5. I'm hoping this will change with the release of Aces of War Thunder later this year. So it's budget friendly, we've established that. But is it valuable? Is it worth the money? Will it make flying games better? And how is the build quality? For $70 US, to be honest, I'm not really expecting much. If I get a reasonable all-round experience, then I'll be a happy chappy. Let's take a closer look at it. The throttle and stick can be attached or separated. I quite like this feature. All you have to do is unscrew from the bottom with the included Allen key, which I've already lost. I'll typically fly with them connected, as it's easier to move the stick in and out of my work desk area, which is where I use my PS5. It's got quite a small footprint, so it's not going to take up that much room on your desk if space is an issue. A key point here is there's no hard mounting option on the bottom. As you can see there, you've just got these rubber feet. So always keep that in mind. And onto the design of the stick. The design of the stick really is quite nice. And I mean, like, nice. This might be one of the more comfortable sticks on the market across the board. It just fits so well in the hand, and it's really ergonomic. For a bit of context, the bottom of my palm to my middle finger is... I don't always have a tape measure at hand. So bottom of my hand to my middle finger, talking 7.5 inches. So that'll give you a bit of context with the actual size of the stick and the kind of comfort levels that I'm feeling. I can reach all the buttons and switches easily. For comfort, I reckon this beats out my Thrustmaster Warthog, just based on the design, the shape, the size, and how it feels in the hand. The throttle, however, is a tad on the small side. Not a massive complaint, and to be honest, I might be reaching a bit there, but the button layout is quite nice. All the buttons are easily reachable. There's nothing really out of place here. The throttle also has a detent at 50%. It's a strong detent, too strong actually. Now, I wouldn't normally like this, but I found in the manic online battles in War Thunder, where everything's kind of happening really fast, it was nice to be able to feel when I crossed that halfway mark. Rather than having to look for the information, you know, I can just feel it. Both the throttle and the stick, all of the regular PlayStation buttons there, which is gonna take a little bit of mesmerizing. It's going to take a bit of memorizing with the button placement, but you'll soon use these just as easily as you do a normal controller. It's fairly intuitive. So let's talk about the build quality. This is usually where the cheaper flight sticks at this price fall over a bit. The Thrustmaster T.Flight stick, it's no different. It's made completely of plastic and weighs around 2 kilograms. I have actually weighed it, that's not a guess. It's fairly light in the hand. In fact, it's very light in the hand, not in a good way. This is me being used to a Thrustmaster Warthog, so keep that in mind. Still, a little more heft from the stick and the throttle, especially the throttle, as the throttle actually needs way more resistance too. It's far too light, it's too easy to move. Kind of feels like you're pushing nothing. That is what I'd expect from an entry-level product in this price range. All the buttons, you know, all the buttons feel okay. The left 1 and left 3 button on the top of the stick, you know, they kind of feel a bit nicer than the others. Everything else is kind of what you would expect, actually. The circle, X and square buttons have a much clickier feel to them than the triangle button, which is all situated on the back of the throttle. Again, not a massive deal. But generally, all the buttons are just what I'd expect. Thrustmaster has always been pretty good at building entry-level products. At this price point, it's all to be expected. The stick is a little bit creaky, or was a little bit creaky out of the box, but this actually disappeared after a few hours of use, so I'm not sure what's happening there. One of the best and worst features is the twist stick for rudder control. I love the fact they included it, but I hate how light it is. You know, when I'm playing War Thunder, I'm often unknowingly adjusting the rudder because it moves so easily. A bit of extra tightness there would be nice. The main trigger could also do with a little tighten up. Maybe a stronger spring in there would do the job. I'm not sure if it's actually sprung at the moment. It might be some sort of different mechanism. And look, that could seem a little harsh because please keep in mind that I am coming from higher end electronics. So the games I've been testing this with is War Thunder Simulator Battles and Ace Combat. Don't worry, I wasn't on Ace Combat for long. There are other games like Star Wars Squadrons which will also work quite well. But the game I'm really waiting on is Aces of Thunder. I'm keeping my fingers crossed they open it up to third-party controllers and sticks. Because if they do that, then something like this is, it'd be the perfect partner. Now, one of the questions I often hear and that gets asked is the T.Flight Hotas compatible with PlayStation 5? And yes, it is. It works exactly like it does on PS4, so there are no issues there. Just press the PS button like you do on a normal controller, assign it, and you're good to go. It's time for the pros and cons. So the pros, the price. This thing is dirt cheap, coming in at $70 US. You'll often find it on sale as well, 10-20% off. If you ever see this and you've been on the fence, then I'd recommend picking one up at that price. It's plug and play, there's no mucking around, it just works. Ergonomically, the stick is brilliant. I love the ergonomics and the design of the stick. I can use this for hours. It sticks fairly well to my desk, it doesn't move around based on the fact that you can't hard mount this. There's a screw on the bottom of the stick to adjust the tightness. All the PlayStation buttons are there that you need, identical to the controller, and it works in PS5 flawlessly. Oh yeah, you can separate these or have them together. You just two screws, you unclip them at the bottom and you can separate it. The cons. It's a bit light in the hand. It's a little bit of a reach considering the price. So I like to stress that this is as entry level as it gets. The throttle is also definitely too light, and the detent in the throttle, for me, my personal opinion, is just too pronounced. And that's really it. So who would I recommend this for? If you're a PC flight gamer or simmer, I wouldn't buy this. I cannot recommend it. There's just too many better options out there. However, if you are only on PS5 and play the likes of War Thunder, Sim Battles, or even the arcade stuff, and maybe a bit of Ace Combat, then I think you'll like this. Look, most of the things I mentioned are to do with this being a budget entry-level offering, so you need to keep that in mind. If I was only on PlayStation for flight gaming, I wouldn't hesitate buying this. With the likes of Aces of Thunder coming out this year, hopefully, the Thrustmaster T-Flight could be a good option, but PC players, you just need to look elsewhere.